U.S. Attorney Ed Martin while she was participating in a video recorded interview. There she is right there. Look at how mad she is. You can almost see the veins popping out of her neck. Lunatic.
Everyone in Washington, D.C., state, local, and federal agencies, and our great U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, who will be prosecuting this case, will be doing everything in our power to keep all citizens safe.
Why can't you just go on and live your life? I'm a New Yorker. I remember 9/11. You can't let them make you be afraid. You have to go on, you have to live your life, and hopefully your government does things to protect you. Last night, our government failed us.
The spitting lib arrested. They got her. Ed Martin attacked by this lunatic who then dragged her dog around. Well, she got charged, she got arrested, and we've got the announcement here from the DOJ. The district woman charged with assault for spitting on former interim U.S. Attorney Ed R. Martin Jr., who's amazing. And this woman's name is Emily Gabriella Sommer. She's 32 years old. Think she'd know better. On the District of Columbia, she was arrested on a criminal complaint filed in the district court in connection with the May 8th incident during which she allegedly spit, allegedly, it's on camera, U.S. Attorney Ed Martin while she was participating in a video recorded interview. There she is right there. Look at how mad she is. You can almost see the veins popping out of her neck. Lunatic. Says here, Sommer is charged with one count of assaulting, resisting, or impeding a government official. The complaint was announced by Jeanine Pirro and acting U.S. Marshal Ron Carter of D.C. We'll read the complaint, but they tell us at 3:30 p.m., Ed Martin was conducting an interview. During the interview, Sommer approached Martin and stated words to the effect of, "Who in the F are you?" Martin turned to face Sommer. Sommer then said, "Are you Ed Martin?" "You are Ed Martin." Then she lunged at Martin and spit on his shoulder. Sommer then walked eastbound on D Street Northwest and yelled, "You're a disgusting man. F you, Ed Martin. My name is Emily Gabriella Sommer and you are served." She's crazy. Law enforcement went through, identified the X account and all the things. Here was the actual video before we see her criminally charged and arrested.
And so we need to get really focused. How you doing? Oh, whoa.
Ah!
You are a disgusting man.
You're a disgusting person. What's in that saliva? How many different problems are in there that now Ed Martin has to deal with? We don't know. But here is more on this because she got arrested. Here is the criminal complaint that was filed out in the District of Columbia. It says, Emily Gabriella Sommer, criminal complaint. I, the complaint in this case, say the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. Signed off on here by U.S. Deputy Marshal Fletcher Vitch. Sending this one in, one count, 18 U.S. Code, Section 111A1, assaulting, resisting, impeding a government official. Now, there's a statement of facts that we'll read through, but this was the arrest warrant that was issued shortly after the complaint came in. She was picked up. The case was unsealed. Signed off on here by Matthew J. Sharbaugh, U.S. Magistrate Judge. Warrant came in Washington, D.C., 5/22, and boom, it was executed. So the complaint has now been unsealed, and here is what it looks like from inside. The statement of facts says the below signed affiant is criminal investigator and deputy U.S. Marshal assigned to the U.S. Marshal Service. Writing, I am deputy U.S. Marshal with the U.S. Marshal Service and I have been since 2010. I am currently assigned to the District of Columbia where I'm assigned the collateral duty of District Protective Investigator. I've conducted numerous criminal investigations and received training in protective investigations as well. I am a criminal investigation under the law and I'm employed to make arrests for any felony cognizable under the laws if I have reasonable grounds there was a felony committed. Completed a bunch of training with the ATF and a bunch of stuff. And for about 2 years, June 20 to 2022, full-time ATF Washington Field Office Division, numerous criminal investigations, violent crime, supervisory duties, all the stuff. Okay, lots of background. Now to this case. This affidavit is in support of an arrest warrant and is intended to establish probable cause for the arrest of Emily Gabriella Sommer, the spitter. This affidavit is not intended to convey all the facts, just establish cause, probable cause here. The following facts and circumstances were obtained through my independent investigation. Here we go. On May 8th at approximately 3:30 p.m., 601 D Street Northwest in Washington, D.C., Edward R. Martin Jr., will be referred to hereinafter as Victim 1, was conducting a video recorded interview with AA, a reporter affiliated with Newsmax at the time. Then V1 was interim U.S. Attorney in D.C. and the director in D.C. There was also T.O. who was there, another reporter affiliated with NBC, attorney who was also present for the interview. So multiple cameras there recording. During the interview, suspect 1, later identified as Emily Gabriella Sommer, approached victim 1 and stated words to the effect of, "Who in the F are you?" Victim 1 turned to face Sommer, Martin, and then Sommer said words to the effect of, "Are you Ed Martin?" "You are Ed Martin." Then Sommer lunged at V1 and hawktwad right on her shoulder. Sommer then walked eastbound on D Street and yelled, "You're a disgusting man. F you, Ed Martin. My name is Emily Gabriella Sommer. You are served." Look at how mad she is, man. Finger pointing and everything right there. Wow. Ed Martin doesn't even look perturbed at all. This is like, what a psycho. What kind of a psycho lunatic is this? Then she hawktwas right on him. Oh, disgusting. And then we see here, after the incident, law enforcement reviewed security camera footage from the exterior of the office, and it captures her walking away after spitting violently on him. So then investigators searched the name. She's like, well, she identified herself. That was easy. In law enforcement databases, they identified Emily Gabriella Sommer with the date of birth of that, along with the following booking photo. Oh, yeah, there she is. Now, Eurofient compared the booking photo, must have been arrested in another case for some other violent attack or something, who knows, to footage of the incident and noted consistencies in the jawline, hairline, eyebrows, and nose between the booking photo of Sommer and the footage of suspect 1. Yeah, let's see. Yep, certainly looks like her. Very similar facial structure right there. There it is. Boom. Compare and contrast right there. Yep, same nose, same chin right there. Lips look the same. Not glasses there. We got the little indent in the forehead right there. You see right there. Hair looks much the same. Even the same style, honestly. Does a little potel thing back there. Earrings look the same. The ears a little covered up here, but that, ears are like a fingerprint, so that kind of looks the same over there. Anyways, it's her. Busted. They got her. Investigators identified the ex of this person too. She was posting online. Emily Gabriella S. with a display name called Left. What? That's her name? Left Nipples? Oh, gosh. And the URL. Yeah, that's it right there. Okay. Sounds like an interesting person. Determined that Sommer is likely the account holder of that account. On May 8th, from 6:03 p.m. to 6:10, her account made several posts related to the incident. So Ed Martin posted this on May 8th. He says, "I was thrilled to meet the prosecutors, investigators from this section. Their hard work and tenacity are paying off in the country and around the world. I'm proud to have them on my team." Ed Martin reposted that from his personal account, it looks like. He says, "Great people there." Then this lib spitter says, "Ed, that was me that spit in your face today in front of your not US DC for DC courthouse that absolutely spit in your face on camera. Hi, hello. A pleasure to hawk a dehydrated, pithy white foam spit into your face. I only apologize that this city left me so dehydrated and unable to get water that I couldn't produce more to stain and drip down your face. Poop emoji." What a psycho. So she continued. Ed posted another post, May 7th, says, "Shooting a child is a problem. Guy gets 156-month prison term. Ed says, make DC great again and safe again." She posted the same thing, copy and pasted it. Didn't even have the creativity to write it again. Ed posted something else. He says, "That happened. Such stories of inside." Copy and pasted it, dropped it again because she's nuts. Same thing here. Ed post from 2012, "Good times here. We support Ed Martin for Republican AG. Fight, fight, fight." Emily says, "I spit in your face, Ed. How do you like it?" Same thing here, right? She's just dropping it on everything he posts. What a nut. And looks like it's the same copy and paste there. Same copy and paste there. She's just blowing him up. Gone nuts. Now, Eurofient is aware that Ed's personal account is called Eagle Ed Martin. The Emily account contains a profile picture that is similar to known photographs of Sommer. Right, there you go. So there, yep, kind of looks like her. Says, investigators queried law enforcement databases and identified Sommer's home address. On May 15th, investigators interviewed witness 2 at Sommer's residence. Investigators showed W2 a still image from the security camera footage, and witness 2 identified Sommer and confirmed she lives there. Oh, I wonder who that was. Like her roommate busted her. "You know this person?" "Oh yeah, it's my roommate. She's freaking crazy. She lives here?" "Yeah." "She spit on people all the time. She's spitting all over the place. She's nuts." "All right, you arresting her?" "Perfect. Yeah, she lives here." As such, Eurofient submits that there is probable cause to charge Emily with violation of the law. Signed by Fletcher in a great filing there. Tracked her down. She admitted it. Not really the crime of the century. She's like, "Hi, I'm Emily. I spit in your face." So we'll see how that works out for her. Now, Ed Martin in another case. This is another case that we've talked a lot about here. This is the Jane and John Doe's case because these government employees, remember, they suffered emotional damage and they're so scared because they might have to go get real jobs. So they're suing, and FBI agents are part of this and they don't want their names to be exposed. And so they sued to try to stop Ed Martin from identifying them, essentially. And then they submitted another response. Remember, Ed gave an interview and then they flipped out about that. And the DOJ filed a response saying, you guys are ridiculous. That's not what Ed said at all. So this is in defense of Ed Martin. They say, all right, Norm Eisen's groups who are suing here on behalf of John and Jane Doe's are totally wrong. They're trying to misquote Ed Martin. He, in the full context, plainly expresses his commitment to following the law. And he made these comments on the last day of his previous employment, and so they could be read in tension with the department's previously submitted discovery responses. And so they lack standing, their claim should be dismissed, and they can't even complain about this because they shouldn't even be in this court in the first place. Saying, first of all, this court should reject the blatant mischaracterization of Ed Martin's comments. Here's what he said. On the question of weaponization, he talks about the question about the DOJ manual. And Ed Martin gives us his whole response here. Says, well, I'd have to look at what the provision is. Chuck Grassley, lots of context there. Reviewing the full thing, a couple things become clear. He explicitly states that any review will be conducted in compliance with the law. He's not illegally targeting anyone. He says we're going to do things correctly. We're going to be thoughtful and serious about how the systems work. And this is a mischaracterization of him. And he does not support their false assertion that they're in regular contact with J6 defendants either. He said, we're not releasing this information because that's not how this works. But regardless of what Ed said, there is no case or controversy that is ripe for this court's adjudication. And so you should dismiss your claims as we've already articulated in our motion to dismiss, signed off on by Dimitar P. Georgiev, defending Ed Martin against the smears from Norm Eisen's team. Now, elsewhere, in addition to spitting libs, we also have other more serious attacks, which are in the form of shooting other innocent people in the back, walking down the street, visiting museums. And we're asking ourselves about the lefties on this one because they're having a hard time having this conversation on their show, saying that there were two people shot and the person who did the shooting was screaming, "Free Palestine." But how can they be upset about that since they love guys like Luigi Mangione? Very complicated situation for them to be in since they've aligned themselves with murderers. But the New York Post said, accused DC Jewish Museum terrorist Elias Rodriguez posted "Death to America," praised Luigi Mangione in his unhinged post before he shot these two people outside the Jewish Museum, screamed "Free Palestine," gunned down two Israeli embassy diplomats, said "Death to America, death to Israel, I voted for Hamas," and is nuts. Federal investigators are working to confirm that an account is tied to him, accused of executing two people, Yaron Lishchinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgram, as they left an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum last night. Post on the X account also praised Luigi Mangione. We'll see what Taylor Lorenz has to say about this. She probably loves this guy too. Praises political violence and includes thinly veiled death threats to Jews. Happy New Year, death to Israel, he says. There you go. So that's that guy. And Pam Bondi showed up and was commenting about this in response to this, along with many others in the administration. And here's what that sounded like.
Everyone in Washington, D.C., state, local, and federal agencies, and our great U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, who will be prosecuting this case, will be doing everything in our power to keep all citizens safe, especially tonight, our Jewish community. We will follow the facts, we will follow the law, and this defendant charged will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, he's been charged, and the snippets of the complaint are brutal and disgusting. I mean, he shot them, reloaded, they were moving around, went up, shot him again. And CNN is having a hard time talking about that because they can't just say, like, murder's bad. They have to, like, well, I mean, we don't, like, not all Palestinians are like this, and not all the people who are on this side of the aisle who are making excuses for Luigi Mangione and making other excuses for violent attacks, who've been doing this for decades now, having a hard time talking about it, as you can see in this bizarre exchange.
As you go forward, what you have seen, can you give us any sense, because you said you looked the shooter in the eyes, can you give us any sense of what you saw in him as he was sort of getting help and people were tending to him as if he too was a victim of seeing this?
Yeah, to be clear, I heard about that part because we were in a secure room when he initially walked in. I just saw him screaming and then being handcuffed. But what I saw in his eyes, I mean, I went to Columbia for grad school and I saw the same thing in his eyes as I saw in the eyes of all the protesters at Columbia. Nothing different between him and them.
But they did not create this horrific shooting. They did not,
They gave permission, and they have called for this. They have called for Intifada revolution, which is the same thing he yelled last night.
Do you worry that there will be a conflation, though, of the two, those people who are speaking their mind, who really care about what is happening in Gaza, and those people who who are like this person who did this horrific shooting who intend to do harm.
A conflation. I mean, they are calling for intifada. At Columbia University, they call for intifada constantly. They're not quietly, they're loud. You can hear it. They make recordings of themselves. So what's the difference?
Are you afraid?
Yes.
What will
We're
you do
all
about
afraid.
that?
Everyone should be afraid.
What are you doing to try to make yourself feel safer?
Why can't you just go on and live your life? I'm a New Yorker. I remember 9/11. You can't let them make you be afraid. You have to go on, you have to live your life, and hopefully your government does things to protect you. Last night, our government failed us.
Jonathan Epstein, I know that they are going forward with this. There is expected to be charges in this case. We will see what happens, but I know you'll be watching, and we'll talk to you again as this goes forward. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry that you had to witness what you did.
All right, so
as you go
interesting
forward,
exchange. Seemed a little bit painful. They're trying to figure out which narrative to go. It's like, well, it's bad, but not all that bad. And some of the rhetoric, they always talk about rhetoric, right? Rhetoric. Like they censored all of us for disinformation, said we were going to get people killed and all the things when we were talking about COVID and all the stuff. But then when their side does, it's like, it's not that rhetoric anymore. It's just kind of one random person on the left. But Andy NGO, he's the person who flagged this for us. And it begs the question, but this dude has been around all of these entities for a long time. It's BLM, it's Palestine, it's communist, it's anti-white. And then poof, activated, goes, takes out a couple of people. And the question is, who's funding all of this? Like, who? Oral history researcher for the History Makers, the digital repository for the Black experience. And I don't know if he's black or not. Doesn't look black to me. Elias Rodriguez. But he's getting paid for that? Like, where's this money coming from? Amazon's whitening of Seattle is structurally racist, says Rodriguez, living in Amazon. There he is at a BLM rally doing the same stuff. So wild situation there. Rest in peace to those two people who lost their lives by a coward who shot them in the back. Pathetic. And of course, the libs are unhinged. They've just gone mental, and a lot of their party wants more of it, endorses it, celebrates it. I think many people will call that guy a hero, just like they did Luigi Mangione, because for them, the ends justify the means. And as long as they get a little shock of dopamine, they think that's a good way to run a nation. So disgusting behavior. We'll keep our eye on all of this madness. Thank you for subscribing and joining as we do.